I'll call to order the January 6th work session. Sheriff Eads, would you lead us in prayer?
Yes. Pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for another day. Thank you for your many blessings that you bestow upon all of us. Thank you for us having a good year in 24 overall, and we appreciate that. We also pray that 25 will be another good year for the citizens of Dickson County and the members of this board. And lead them, Lord, and give us all the wisdom continue to lead this county in a positive direction. Christ, we pray.
Amen. Amen. For the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Simpkins?
Here.
Mr. Ledger?
Here.
Mr. McElwain?
Here.
Mr. Beatty?
Here.
Mr. Dawson? Ms. Spicer?
Here.
Mr. Buckner?
Here.
Mr. Britt?
Here.
Mr. Petty?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Grove?
Here.
Ms. Gray?
Madam Quorum, Commissioner Dawson, they let us know he's got a septic problem. Something had a big holiday and filled that thing up out there. So he's digging that out tonight. Yeah, God bless him. First order of business is approval of the minutes of the December 2nd, 2024 work session. Open floor for a motion. Commissioner Petty, second by Commissioner Beatty. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 2 is appointments. We have 3 planning commission seats that are up for reappointment. 2 of them that I'm bringing forward to reappoint is Mr. Jeff Chase and Mr. Gary Peeler. On the other one, Shane Chandler had been on the planning commission, but he is no longer in that commission district. After conferring with Commissioner Britt, he's had discussions with Mr. Randy Ramey, and we would like to submit his name as the 3 new, the 2 renewals and the new planning commission member. Open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Buckner, second by Commissioner Gray. Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next is Water Authority of Dickson County. As you know, we have 2 members on that. Represent Dickson County, Ms. Paula Elazar, who joined this 4 years ago. She replaced Mr. Kyle Ruff. She's up for reappointment. I'd like to submit her name again to be reappointed on the Water Authority. Open floor for motion. Thank you, Commissioner Petty, second by Commissioner Spicer. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 3 is committee reports. Any committees to report? Commissioner Gray.
I received the quarterly report from the Humane Society this afternoon and I emailed it to everybody. I'm sorry about the late notice. I got it this afternoon myself. So if you have any questions, let me know and I will get some answers for you. It's the same format as the other quarterly reports.
Excellent. Any other questions? Commissioner Gray, any discussion? Would you like us to recess it so you have an opportunity to review it? Commissioner Gray, could you help him? Thank you. Any other committees to report? Hearing none. Next is new business budget amendment, all school funds. Dr. Sutherland.
Happy New Year. Mayor, County Commissioners, you received a document which you historically have received in the past around the Excel document, the General School Purpose Fund 141. I added something new, and these are the documents that I handed out earlier. What I'd like to have with Miss Underhill, who is the accountant and director of finance, I like to see when I go over as a director, 5,000 or greater. Historically, you have not been given a document that outlines expenditures to this amount. It was historically 100 grand or more. I'm not going to create 2 documents, so I'm giving you what I asked for, and so you have it tonight. You can see on the left-hand side of the documents that I provided for you what account line item is, what the increase or decrease is and the explanation for that. So I'm going to give you a moment. You got the Excel spreadsheet. If you have any questions regarding that, but I hope that the document that I shared tonight helps better support. If you go home and you see something in a line item and want to know its increase, you'll see my explanation for that. And you know that all of you have my phone number too, but I wanted you to see what I'm putting together for myself as a director and what Ms. Underhill is doing for me when I look at the budget.
Any questions, Dr. Sutherland? Hearing none, Dr. Sutherland, please proceed.
Okay.
Was that all your report?
That's all the reporting.
Oh, okay.
Just to
Thank you.
Look at our amendments if you have no questions.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for being here tonight. Very
Uh-huh.
good. Y'all review that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Dr. Sutherland over the next 2 weeks and 1 day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sutherland. What's the vote? Are we amending something? Are you asking us to amend your budget? Have we haven't received the audited budget yet. Have you gotten a copy of that yet? Yes, the one that we just completed. We had an exit interview on it about a month ago.
It's still embargoed.
Okay. Well, what you're asking is us to move money with this document. I know you sent another document, had a spreadsheet on it. Are you asking to increase your revenues and decrease your expenses by this aggregate amount on the fourth page?
So the revenues would be increasing from 86 million to 87.4, and then expenditures from 91.2 million to 92.6.
Okay, if we amend your budget now and we get ready to start budgeting your other budget, it's these savings that pushes your next budget, your increased revenue and your decreased expenses. So if we increase your revenues now and take your decreased expenses, basically it looks like it's an aggregate increase of $1.276 million.
That's on the, are you looking at just the summary sheet?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just every expenditure or revenue over 5,000. So there are some that are less than 5,000 that aren't on the summary sheet. So while it looks that way while looking at that, like I said, if you look at the 141 spreadsheet.
Okay, I've got it here and I reviewed it today. On the summary of expenditures, on that page, it's 1.69 million. I'm not following this. What's your intent? What are y'all trying to do?
So typically, I think you would receive amendments in spring, but we just already knew of some things that needed amended at this time, so we just thought we would go ahead and bring it forward at this time to amend our budget. We just had, we had various line item account changes. Like for one instance, we have an ISM grant. Well, that grant was formerly just in 2 different accounts, but now the state of Tennessee has required us to move that amongst like 5 other accounts. So instead of just hitting the vocational accounts like 72-130 and 71-300, they've requested that we put some of that money in 71-100 and various items. So that's all it is.
It's going to be the will of this body, but as a member of the budget committee, I'm not comfortable making wholesale changes of this magnitude until we get the audit done. And again, it's the will of this body. Now, we can move this forward to the next meeting, but there's quite a bit of items that are being moved around in here. The budget, so at this point, is only 6 months old, and again, you're an accountant, so I don't argue with attorneys or accountants, but it's a large move in money. So again, it's the will of the commission. If y'all want to move this forward to the next meeting, you're welcome to, but I'm not comfortable with this point, but if y'all are comfortable, feel free to make a motion.
Line item, this item right here, is that the amount that we be increasing?
It looks like it. I have it.
1.69.
Looks like it's the net amount. The increase is 3.8 and the increase is 2.1 to give you 1.69.
Be 1.69 is what the increase would be.
In expenditures.
Okay.
But we're going to increase revenues by 1.276.
Like I said, these are just the summary of all expenditures and revenues, 5,000 or greater. So there are other items that are less than 5,000. So if you'll look at if you want to see the net change in revenues, if you'll look on page 2 of the general purpose school funds 141 document, if you look on page 2, you'll see that we're moving revenues from 86.1 million to 87.4.
Okay, I'm not going to reread the document now. I'm going to get Mr. Hall to look at this from my standpoint. That's why he makes the big money. I don't understand it. So again, it's the will of this commission, what you'd like to do with this tonight.
Well, Mayor, this is just a work session, so I'll make the motion to go ahead and move it on to the regular session, but they need to get with the mayor, figure, make sure that before we make this approval, that he's happy with it.
This motion by Commissioner Grove. Thank you. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Brett. Any questions or discussion?
Look at all this.
We'll have him.
So you and him feel comfortable with it?
We'll have that done. I'll have Don here at the next meeting if we need him on that. Thank you. Any other question, discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 2, 2025 road list. Mr. Hodges has delivered that to you. I believe that's on everyone's desk. Does this require a vote on this one? Do you have is there anything you want to bring to bear on this, Mr. Hodges? If y'all have any questions right now for Mr. Hodges, you want to take time to review it, but Mr. Hodges has done a very good job since he's been here about bringing all these to us ahead of time. So there should be no surprises on there.
I told him to call you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I told him to call me. He was the first. Right.
Is there any other questions on roads that are in Dickson County? Okay, good. We have a proper motion, a second. If there's no other question, discussion, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next is Cadmus, Sheriff Eads.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy New Year, everybody. This is a change I'm requesting. The Cadmus, it is the scanning device. It's pretty much a hardened smartphone. A few years ago, we were doing business with Life Check, and we've had some issues with the way it does things. And this is an important part. This is what the deputies use when they're doing a security check every hour. Somebody's on suicide watch. They go up and they scan the door. They can take pictures. They can, note when chow is run. They have to note when med pass is done. And so we believe after reviewing all the features, it's a much better system. It was actually developed by a Carter County jail deputy several years ago. And it's going to be a little bit more expensive monthly due to some Wi-Fi upgrades. So we're looking at the initial cost to switch over is about $4,625. And then the annual difference would be about $250 monthly. And so I believe the attorneys reviewed the agreement and all that's in line. But like I said, we've been working with LifeCheck for about 2.5 years and just unable to overcome. And that's really important, these scans, that we keep these detailed notes to stay TCI compliant. So if we get decertified, then we won't get any money for state prisoners and that sort of thing, and increases our liability substantially. So
Sure, my understanding, this is budgeted item.
yeah, there's some money in the
So,
budget.
but part of the deal is that we're doing this agreement over a multi-year period. Thus,
Yes.
that's why.
Yeah,
the
that's
commission
why,
needs to
yes.
Approve it.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Fix Wi-Fi problem, dance problem.
Yes. Yes. Plus with this software, if they do get into like an extreme, maybe, and Commissioner Britt's familiar, if they get into one corner of a pod, say where there's not, then it continues to do their checks. When they come back with viable Wi-Fi, it'll immediately upload it, and it will note that it was out of Wi-Fi. That way, if a TCI inspector is saying, that looks like that's 4 minutes late, well, it's noted in the electronic log that it was out of Wi-Fi.
Any other questions? No, it's not a budget amendment. It's just to approve, move this to regular session. You're approving the length of it since it's over a year term. Motion by Commissioner Graves, second by Commissioner Williams. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Item number 4, Sutherland Road speed limit, Commissioner Williams. Sheriff.
Okay. So I'll just give you the quick highlights. We conducted a 7-day study primarily in the 800 block of Sutherland Road, but that's a pretty good long road. Current speed limit's 45. The study revealed 2,732 vehicles with 67 speeders one direction, 218 in the other. Average speeds were 33 one way and 37 the other. Y'all probably get tired of me saying this. The 85th percentile shook out at 37 one way and 41 the other. Since it's such a long stretch of roadway, I went ahead and took a deep dive into the crash study. So I pulled crash data from January 2019 to December 24. And there were a total of 40 motor vehicle crashes. 5 had injuries and the rest were property damage. And here's part of I'm going to recommend. 18 of those were intersection accidents at 48 and Sutherland, which typically do not involve speed. 9 intersections at Sutherland and Rock Church. 13 other parts, which could be straightaways and curves. And out of the total 14 were deer strikes, which are not speed impacted typically. So given that most were not attributed to simply speeding, with the 85th percentile being the guiding source for me making a recommendation to y'all do this study, the closest that I could make a recommendation would be 40 miles an hour. I think 35 is too low. Like I said, the average speeds were 33 and 37. And so I want to stay close to the 85th percentile. That's why I'm not going. It's 6 more miles per hour less to go to 35. And I think that would create an unreasonable lower speed. And even at 40, if a person's doing 55 and a 40, that's 15 miles an hour over. And I think most people would agree that would be, if you got a speeding ticket for 15 miles an hour over on typically county roads don't have large shoulders, that's a reasonable ticket that I don't mind having the deputies write. So that's my recommendation is 40 miles an hour.
Commissioner Williams, that's your motion?
Yeah.
Good. You have a second. Second by Commissioner Buckner. Any questions or discussion? Just to move on to regular session. This is this
Thank you.
vote. Thank you, Sheriff. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Commissioner Williams, with the speed limit changes you made and the fact you have ignite cable out there, you're becoming very urbanized out in that area. Lower speeds and high speed internet. I like where you're headed with that. Is any other business from the commission or any announcements? Commissioner Randy Simpkins is not telling you he'll have a birthday before our next meeting. So happy birthday. It is. I saved you.
I was gonna tell y'all that night. Say,
So we don't show back up to what, the 21st?
Martin's birthday,
Oh,
January 19th.
I got you.
And that's mine too.
Well, happy birthday ahead of time.
Thank y'all.
Yes, Commissioner Buckner.
Are we gonna have to sing happy birthday tonight?
Well, mine's passed, but
Right.
I think I get forgiveness because that was,
No,
we have
no,
a
no,
3-week window
I
in
did-
there. I did not think that far ahead. I would have self-reported.
I didn't get forgiveness last year. That's right. And I was the,
Okay, y'all can sing, but sing lightly. I've heard your voices. All right.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Not bad.
Happy birthday, mother. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We will, I'll make sure that this does not happen next year. I'm making a note right now. Any other announcements? Commissioner Buckner,
Sir,
your wife, you might want to inform
Oh.
everybody what's going on with her.
doing good. She had a hip replacement this morning and she's in a room now and coming home in the morning.
Good.
Everything works out. So
Good.
she's
She'll be-
doing good.
She'll be chasing you around here before long.
Well, I doubt that. You know, after 58 years, you don't chase too much.
Well, I'm glad she's doing well. Any other announcements? Hearing none, the last will be the next work session meeting will be on February 3rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Beaverdale Booty Reed Jr. County Commission Chamber of the Dickson County Administration Building, Four Court Square, Charlotte, Tennessee. Have a motion second? Thank you.